Buckle up, get some coffee, maybe a snack, because we are on the road, a road to the election day 2023. Depending on where you live, there will be very different races on the ballot coming up in a number of weeks. Boise and Meridian, for example, they have mayoral races and city council races to keep an eye on. And in those two cities, the 2023 format will look different because of a newish Idaho law. That law, passed in 2020, it requires cities with populations over 100,000 people to create districts for their city council elections. And before the law, in cities that don't have 100,000, they still go this way, they hold at-large elections, meaning anyone from any area of the city could run for a council spot. But with the new rules comes some new questions. What if only one person runs? Is there still an election? Imagine you're running a track race. You get all amped up to compete, but close to race day, you learn that you're the only person signed up to run. So does the race still go on? Can you even win a race against yourself, or are you just the winner by default? I'll leave the running and sports to the sports people, but that same scenario I just described, well, it's unfolding right now in the Meridian City Council race.
It's becoming more of a thing with Meridian and Boise City both. Having separate district elections for their council seats.
Trent Triple is Ada County Clerk, and his office oversees elections across the county. And to be clear, Clerk Triple says that the Meridian City Council District 4 race, which only has one candidate, it's not canceled. He lays out the situation seen now because of the new law, requiring cities with populations over 100,000 people to create districts for their city council elections.
Previously, when you'd run at-large elections, you'd have multiple candidates vying for multiple seats in the same election, and therefore they would show up on the ballot. But the ballot language, the statute language actually says if you are uncontested, if there's only one qualified person who has filed either as a legitimate candidate or a write-in candidate, so if there's only one of those people, the election will not be run. What that means is they won't show up on the ballot. The city clerk or the board of whatever taxing district that is will then declare that single person who is uncontested the winner of that election prior to canvassing and prior to the appointment. And so while some people may use the word cancel, it's not actually canceling an election. It's just not running the election because there's no election to run. There's only one qualified person.
So does the new law complicate things for clerks?
We have over 390 different ballot types on this election. And so the more contested elections we have, the more difficult the election is, but we're ready for that. We've prepared for that. We've done that in the past. Obviously, if a particular office is not on the ballot, it makes for a shorter, simpler ballot for us to develop. But in terms of people showing up to vote, it makes no difference.
Time will tell if the theme of one contender contests continues. Elections go on, even if there's a new quirk to handle.
In terms of the message maybe out there in the community that elections are being canceled, what can you say to people that are concerned about that?
Elections are far from being canceled. We're going to continue to run elections the way we've always done them here in the state of Idaho and in Ada County. We're very proud of that. We're going to run a free and fair election. We'll follow the statutes as described by the legislature, and that hasn't changed.
So during that story, I'm sure at least a few of you asked your television screens, well, what if I wanted to write someone in for a single candidate race? Why can't I do that? Does taking the race off the ballot take away my vote? No, and there's an answer. It's because that you still need to file paperwork to be certified as a write-in candidate, and that deadline has already passed, so nobody signed up. Another question, though, that you may have, when is a single candidate race declared? Well, Meridian City Clerk Chris Johnson tells me this afternoon that city council meetings, the city council will act on a declaration that declares John Overton as elected, and that's happening as we speak right now. So here's a part of the memo, though, that the Meridian City Council is going to bring up. The bottom line here is that Mr. Overton will be sworn in to the seat at the first regular meeting on the 2024 agenda, along with the winners of the races that will appear on the ballot. So super interesting little intricacy there, and we'll see if this becomes more of a trend in Boise and Meridian and any other Idaho cities that get a population over 100,000.